the Bleak Face podcast, and literally the ad, it just starts, it goes, "It's almost Valentine's Day. Is your butthole clean?" Because it was a fucking Hello Tushy ad. I'm like, that's one of the fucking funniest ad reads I've ever heard. And it also just got me thinking, like, yeah, you kind of want a clean butthole for Valentine's Day. You know, if you got something digging, you want someone digging in there or something going in there, you want it to be clean. Thanks, Hello Tushy. You're not sponsored, but you could be. You could be.
And just like that, welcome to the podcast. This week I'm joined by my lovely friends Mike, Ryan, Steve, Monica, and my lovely fiance Chris. My name's Kevin. Welcome to the show. Yes, we are not sponsored by Hello Tushy, but we could be. That's right.
You could sponsor us.
And it was Valentine's Day.
Someone sponsor us,
yesterday.
please.
I don't trust any product that's like excessive.
Harry.
Why does my lighting look like shit, Kevin?
Because I'm using the other camera for you.
So I see you got some chocolates there, Mike.
Yeah. My parents just got it for me and my sister. So
that's nice.
It's sweet.
Yeah, my mom normally likes to send a sort of Valentine's Day care package because she loves Valentine's Day. Like, my parents' wedding anniversary is February 9th because it was the closest weekend they could get to Valentine's Day. Like, she loves it, and she goes all out for it. And this year was no exception, and it was very sweet.
Nice.
Cool.
Didn't really do too much for Valentine's Day yesterday, but...
We didn't do anything yesterday, but we saw West Side Story on Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
It was musical theater.
Fuck off, Harry.
I'm not... It was very well done. The acting was very good. But there's only so seriously I could take dance fighting.
For what show? What movie?
West Side Story.
Oh, yeah.
It was a good show. I enjoyed myself.
Don't
but
you
like,
be dissing my dance fighting.
I'm not. I'm dissing dance fighting a little bit.
Don't you?
But the rest of it was very good.
Should have worn either my Sharks or Jets jersey today instead of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
But then we went out to this restaurant called Nirvana over in Vernon Hills.
More like Nerdvana.
It's like a wine bar. It's really nice. Would recommend.
Cool.
My mind immediately went to the worst joke
I
possible.
can look it up later.
It's by the big mall.
I know that area very well. It's just I'm like, is it in the?
It's close to Ross.
Oh, Harry, that's sad to hear. I want to see that. The King's Man.
Yeah. Speaking of, I guess, wine flavors. Did you guys know that wedding dresses are colored? Like wedding dresses colors are named after wines.
I already did sit-ups, man.
So
Really?
like
I never
like
made
champagne,
the connection, but yeah.
Champagne, Moscato, Rosé, Ivory. Obviously, that's just white. That's just
Also, A+ transition.
Thank you.
What? No.
What do you mean? Steve was talking about going to a wine bar.
It was a good transition. It was a good transition.
Oh no!
I think it was a good transition.
Yay!
Fuck you guys. I fucking hate everyone.
But yeah, so I went wedding dress shopping. When was it? On the 6th, right?
It was a Saturday. No, Sunday.
Yeah, on the 6th. And I went to my parents' hometown because that's where my sister got her wedding dress, and I liked the, blah blah blah. But I tried on about like 10 or so dresses, but then I kept coming back to one, and I kept playing with it, and I felt pretty in it. So it's my wedding dress.
Yay!
I got my wedding dress.
It pretty can confirm.
And then
I wouldn't know. Vanessa wasn't allowed to show me.
No, yeah, I told Vanessa not to show you. Even though I've showed like all my coworkers. But yeah, I have my alterations date set for about 10 days after when it's supposed to arrive in the store. And that's in mid-June.
Wedding dresses take an eternity to get in.
Well, yeah, so they also have to order in my size, and they have to order extra fabric because right now it's currently a strapless dress, and I want to add off the shoulder straps that match the top. So
Okay.
That'll be good.
Oh, be nice, Harry.
yeah. So yeah, I said yes to the dress.
Yay.
Well, it's funny because my sister was like, "Do you want to go dress shopping after this?" And this was me just being in this dress for a little bit. I'm like, "No, I think I found it." And then, so my mom, my sister, and then my very best friend Faye. Sorry, everyone.
Valid.
I've known Faye since we were fucking 5 years old. So, basically, my second sibling. My maid of honor, my sister's my matron, and my mom. And they were all like almost crying. And I almost cried in it at one point. So, you know it's good then.
Nice.
Yeah, I also would love to see Kevin wearing the same dress though.
I mean, he would not stop playing with the skirt portion of the dress. So, because I
wait. Kevin was with you?
No.
No.
I'm saying he would play.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually,
if he had that particular style.
And it was funny though. I was playing with it, and then Faye and Katie come over and just like, can we? Because they wanted to touch it to feel the fabric, and then I was like, we're just gonna be doing this the whole time, aren't I? I'm just gonna be playing with my skirt. So.
Nice.
Nat has a point. You could make it a goal for the next 24-hour live stream.
He's such a good fight.
I got nothing. Monica, tell us why you were gone for so long.
Okay, so well, it's kind of similar because the reason I was gone so long is about love, and there is a wedding scene in my show. So my show, I Love You, You're Perfect Now Changed, opened not this past weekend, but the previous weekend, and I was very excited about it. It's a really great show. It's just basically about the evolution of relationships, and it's these little scenes of sort of going from like dating to marriage with kids, and then growing beyond that. And normally the show is done with about 4 people, 2 men and 2 women, but my director decided to expand it to a cast of 10.
Wow.
And that ended up being a very good choice because it still retained the quality of the show, and I get to be naked in a bed and pretending to have sex, so that's neat.
That's always a plus. I get to be naked in a bed.
If only your ex could have experienced that.
I know, and what's even better is that he just sits up. He's in that scene and can't do shit about it.
Wait, he's in the show?
Yeah.
And
And I get to dead ass say to him in a different scene, so, anybody new in your life when I know damn well that there isn't?
literally get cucked.
Not petty at all.
But also funny is the fact that this past Sunday we had our cast party / Super Bowl party. There wasn't a ton of people in attendance, but the scene where I am seems like I'm having sex. Apparently, after that scene, two people walked out, and they said that, this isn't our type of show. And they are longtime patrons of this theater, and it's like, okay, so you didn't have trouble when they did Full Monty in 2011, which involves male stripping, or when they did Calendar Girls in 2018, when there was a bunch of naked women on stage that were older. So clearly what your problem is with a younger woman owning her pleasure. Sorry, not sorry. Get fucked, conservatives.
Get fucked.
Get fucked. But legitimately, well, I can't without like since we're not allowed to give explicit locations. I would encourage those who know me personally to see the show because we are going into our final weekend. It's already pretty close to sold out. I was keeping an eye on tickets today, but it's been a really great experience and probably one of the highest quality shows that I've been in thus far.
Nice.
Nice.
Glad to hear
what's
that.
this about naked women on stage?
Speaking
Well-
of high quality shows.
Well, I know I had a better transition.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I was
okay,
gonna say-
I like Chris's.
well,
I was
let's
gonna
hear
say,
it first.
speaking-
No, we don't
No,
need to. I like
well,
Chris's.
because I was going to.
I was gonna intro you.
Oh, okay.
I'm willing to give.
No, go
I'm
ahead.
willing to give-
No,
I'm willing,
fine.
wait. I want to hear Kev's transition. We can vote afterwards.
I was gonna say, speaking of getting fucked, Chris, tell us who can get fucked.
Bev.
Oh well, yeah.
I took a screen cap of her in the supply thing, the supply room. I'm like, this bitch.
This
So like,
I don't know where to put this media club thing now.
I don't know.
Wow.
Cover
Um,
Steve's face. No.
Wow.
There we go. That's good right there.
There you go. Steve between me and Ryan. Wow.
There we go. Yeah, no, it was perfect there. It was perfect. Yeah, there we go.
What a
Yeah.
podcast. No Monsters Inc. All right.
But like, I was
Oh, I get
I
it.
was not okay with how judgmental she was, but when the thing happened in episode 2, yeah, I wanted to break her neck. Like literally. If I was there, the woman would be dead.
Yeah, fuck Bev Keen.
All right.
But that's
her name.
episode 2.
And
so
now
we'll
back
get
to
that in a bit.
episode 1. What are we
I mean-
watching, guys?
I mean, I immediately put one of my notes in episode 1. Where is it? That racist Karen bitch with the braid is gonna get murked super hard. So
I don't
Not yet.
think
It's
I
not a-
think she's gonna last longer than I want her to.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, she's already lasted
Yeah.
longer than I want her to.
Oh, she's gonna be around to the end, I bet.
I don't think so. She knows too much.
I think she probably killed the dog, but it feels really.
Ryan's
Okay,
hiding.
I guess we're just
Sorry.
I guess we're just gonna talk about that right now instead of
Might
going.
as well.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, there were only a few things that I knew going into the show initially.
I knew
and
about
one
the cats on the beach.
Yeah, I knew that there was a lot of animal death that happened in the show. I knew that it was about religion and that Raul Cooley has a warm-looking jacket.
Mhm.
Oh, I
He
literally
does have a
knew
really
one.
nice wardrobe.
I
Kevin
literally knew
has
one thing-
that denim jacket, kind of.
Oh,
I do. Sorry.
Oh,
I-
go ahead, Steve.
I knew literally
Must be
one thing
stop.
going into fuck off, Mike.
I want you to
Only thing I knew about the show was Raul Cooley, and that is I have gone in completely blind to this show.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much same. Except we were 5 minutes in, and then I just called out what I was feeling. I thought what the show was gonna be about, and I'm almost positive I'm right.
I'm almost positive you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to just say
Yeah,
it?
why don't you?
Oh, it's fucking vampires.
Vampires.
Yeah.
But I was literally,
Vampire.
I was literally 5 minutes
Oh,
in.
yeah.
I was 5 minutes in, and like when like the kids were going to the island, and they're all like the stray cats and stuff, and then like there were two cats fighting, and like they literally showed like a swooping scene of something above them, and then they're talking about like how there was like the town drunk saw a giant flying like Connor.
that makes
Albatross.
sense.
It was
I think
Yeah.
I put
Albatross.
it-
Albatross, yeah, but then I was just kind of like, this show and the whole
No,
church
no.
vibes, this is huge vampire vibes for me. And I literally said that to Chris, and then Chris
There
was
was a
like, if
knocking
you're right,
on
I'm going to
the-
be really mad.
Well,
When the
I'm mad, I
knocking
like
on the
vampires.
chest happened, I kind of called it then. But like, I feel like
Oh,
vampire is the extremely obvious answer, and it might be a red herring.
Maybe.
Also,
It might be.
also,
Or it's
I,
just like a really wild take on vampires.
I'm kind of that'd be kind of my interest in it. Like,
I-
I don't want to go ahead.
I instantly thought of the Mothman, but you know,
I also thought of the
Yes,
Mothman.
the
Yes,
only
I
reason-
also thought of the Mothman.
The only reason, like with the Mothman, is all the cats that washed ashore were bloodless. Their blood was drained. That's what they said.
I didn't even.
Well,
think
but
about
there
That's what I
was no
thought.
blood, yeah.
Yeah, there was
Yo,
no
I
blood.
watch a
so.
show where the villain is the fucking Mothman.
Well, then, so my strong guess is vampire. My secondary guess is like literal like fallen angel. like either Lucifer
It's
or
not.
something
demon.
else.
No,
but-
that chest was full of dirt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so almost positive it's
Vampires.
vampire.
It's
I
vampires.
mean, alternatively, it could be a Batman.
Batman. No.
Man, bear, pig.
Man,
Okay,
bear,
sure.
pig.
I'm down with that
Half
too.
man, half bear, pig.
No, I definitely think it's man, bear, pig now. No, that
Can
makes
you
sense.
just sit?
Man,
No,
bear, pig can't fly
no.
though. Don't be stupid.
Don't.
Out there.
You can just jump really far.
Also, just to transition more back to episode 1, y'all have an excuse to call Raul Cooley daddy because he is a dad on the show.
Yeah.
He's simping hard for Rahul.
Oh, I
Oh my
simped so
God,
fucking
Kevin,
hard
that's
for
so
Raul Cooley.
cute.
That English
I know,
accent
I'm-
is sneaking through.
It is, and I'm a little worried for him.
Oh, he's
Just-
gonna die. He's totally gonna die.
He just feels like a character that's just doomed.
Oh, he's gonna die.
Like-
That's my
like-
prediction. He's gonna die.
Like he's from the big city. He thinks something's up. He's gonna get nosy. He's gonna start snooping, and he's gonna
Yeah.
die. He's dead. He's a dead man.
Bev's gonna
That's-
poison him like she did the dog.
Well, one of the things
I will come kill
that
Bev then.
because
Oh,
one of the
no.
Where'd he
Did.
get?
Cut her away.
Kill Bev.
I'm on
Is
team.
there
Okay.
I'm on team kill Bev.
Yeah,
Box
box
cutter,
cutter
I
gang.
think I maintain that.
Oh wait, I have
or
one over
rather,
here.
Nat pointed this
Oh, she
out.
took mine.
Because the priest that comes into town is just so obviously fucking sus that either he's behind it all or we're being really red herring because he is so sus. Because there's the scene where he's wearing the wrong robes on the first day,
Mhm.
and
He's very clearly not a priest.
and Bev points it out, and Nat's like, "Oh, she's observant. She gonna die."
See, okay, so am I the only like Catholic raised person here? Or-
Hello.
Yes.
Oh,
Hello.
Kevin, you were?
hmm
Okay. So everyone else was either different Christian or not Christian. Then,
Vanessa's Episcopal. She had to explain like a normal time to me. So
I'm,
Yep.
ordinary time.
I'm
Yeah,
Lutheran.
sorry.
See?
Oh yeah.
Well, like,
So-
and just like even for
Okay.
that, so ordinary time is basically when it's not Lent or Advent, right?
Yes, or a feast day, which is what the robes he was wearing was for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
So Kevin, how much of your background started resurfacing during the show?
a lot, especially
Much.
during like the actual
Way
church,
too much.
especially actually during the actual church scenes where they actually didn't they kind of pay notice to the whole like the changing of the
Yeah, the
verbiage.
change in the
Yeah,
yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I get the show.
I remember I was just like subconsciously mouthing stuff during the sermons at some point.
Like,
I'm like,
I
oh,
was raised Lutheran, but there's still a lot of like,
Similarities.
I mean, yeah, because we're all from the same
yeah.
thing.
like in episode 2 when he started reciting the Serenity Prayer, I was like, oh, I know this. Yeah.
But also I just wanted to point something out about the priest man.
He's
Daddy.
cute.
No.
Okay,
Hard
No.
disagree.
I think he's
Listen.
cute. He's cute.
he's cute.
And that's fine. I'm not
In a
gonna
creepy-
get young,
I
but I just
No,
He's
I'm
so
not-
charismatic.
No, the only
No,
daddy
I
in this
understand.
show
I'm
is
not
cool.
your no,
I
you know what?
understand
I'm
that,
gonna
but he also looks too much like Dr. Sagelka. I know none of you really had
yeah.
a class with him, but he also kind of talked like that too.
Oh,
no.
So
I thought he
So
was
Mike's
like
like,
hella
oh, no.
German. I thought.
yeah,
but-
he was. Dr.
Oh.
Sagelka had like a bit of a
yeah, I
German
know
accent
him.
to him, but like
I
the
like had one
speech
thing with-
He
pattern
must
is
have been
very
after I
similar to
graduated.
his
Yeah, it
speech
was
pattern
Steve.
was very similar to Father Paul in this series. So that's another reason. On top of the hairstyle looking like it, I was like, "What? This is throwing me off. What the fuck?"
Yeah,
For those watching, Dr. Segelka was a band director at our college for a couple years. I think I was the only one who had him for a class. I
Jesus,
think,
Harry.
but
He was like a guest conductor one day, I think, for our concert band, right, Ryan?
Yeah.
Senior
Or
year?
it might have been that, or it
That
was,
sounds right.
or he did like the marching
National
band
anthem.
national anthem.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, that.
and then he got allegedly got bullied out by all the string teachers.
Yeah.
That's
Ian Smith.
rude.
Mm-hmm.
Well, fuck that guy.
He's rude.
just going back to
Um,
religion a little bit
oh,
is that
okay.
out of all of us, I know I have like no, because this is the weird thing with me when it comes to any sort of like subject dealing with religion is that the way that I'm pretty sure I've explained this on the podcast before, but
Jewish.
the way I grew up is that my mom was raised Catholic, my dad was raised
love you.
Jewish, and the compromise we made was that we celebrated both Christmas and Hanukkah and didn't go to either church or temple. So I never went to any sort of religious institution growing up. So
Man,
the
the best of all
unfortunate
the
thing
worlds.
is that there's a lot of that sort of like societal context of being part of organized religion that I just goes over my head, and I feel like there's a lot of the subtext of the show that I am going to miss, and not to mention like it always makes me feel like a huge ass outsider, and when it's just like, I don't get it.
Yeah, you didn't miss
I will
much,
say,
don't worry about it.
It's a lot of it isn't even subtext. It is just text in a lot of the
I was
show.
gonna say, I was raised Lutheran. I don't know much about
Yeah.
Catholic stuff, so most
You're-
of this shit's going over my head too. So I
Yeah.
don't worry about it too much.
Yeah, like you'll get the broad strokes of it, but if you were not Catholic, you are going to miss a lot of details in this show. Like,
I wouldn't say
will
they're probably important details, though.
they're not important
No.
details, but they are like
And
they're
if they are
atmospheric details.
well, and if they are important, I feel like they'll point them out, like they did with the frock. So
yeah, I will
Yes.
say now in my personal Catholic school and Catholic church experience, I've had the fortune of going to much more liberal-leaning Catholic churches in my
Same.
time. So when he started going like full charisma speech there, that was like the first like real deviation from what I knew from Catholicism in the second episode. And also faith healing isn't really a thing with Catholicism either, but
spoilers for episode 2.
yeah, spoilers for episode 2, but we'll get there. But
Look at me,
I
I
just
did their
wanted to touch on it while we're on the Catholic Church thing. But it's like now that I think about it, now that I'm thinking about it like this,
They might be
those
witches.
concepts bleeding into it could be like purposeful. Like this is where the traditional Catholic experience is starting to get corrupted a little bit. So that's interesting.
That would be
That's
interesting.
very interesting.
That's very interesting.
Hi, Mark.
No, that's from Cannibal the Musical.
Oh, sure.
We could go to
so-
the
so-
we
we all
should
think
probably talk
the-
about our main character actually.
Oh yeah, the first scene.
which Nat immediately 2 minutes in, he's like, that doesn't look like Chicago.
Oh, I didn't even.
Yeah.
This might
well,
be
'cause they
one
said,
of
they
my-
said Chicago PD, so or no, Chicago Correctional or wherever he went to.
Literally, my first note is, "Ooh, an Illinois license plate."
I loved this opening scene, the way it was
It's
shot.
good, yeah.
It was the zoom
Both
out on the
episodes.
Jesus fish as the police lights fade in. Fucking perfect tone setter.
Both
I didn't
episodes
even catch
have
that.
great openings.
Did,
What was the
Steve,
opening
did
for
you
the
not notice the Jesus fish in the very first shot?
It has literally been 2 weeks since I watched this episode. So
Yeah, I did see the Jesus fish on the car.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also-
right. The cats was the opening for the second episode.
Yeah. And then
But the way it was shot, though, we'll talk
I
about
should
it later.
I made the mistake of trying to eat during that opening scene.
Oh,
Whoopsies!
Which one?
The car
the
accident,
one.
Steve.
Yeah.
But damn, only 4 years for killing somebody while driving drunk in the
Yeah,
state of
fuck that.
Illinois. Damn,
Well, he's white.
only
so-
4.
Throw the book at his ass.
Repeat that again, Mike.
He's white, so
Oh, yeah, fair.
Unfortunate, but kind of true.
but kind of true.
Shouldn't be true, but unfortunately, is.
I have a note that I don't remember what prompted it. It's shortly after he gets back to the island. My note is Dad definitely dying of cancer. I don't remember why I wrote that though.
maybe
No.
because of him talking a
nah.
lot?
I think he's just awkward, emotionally detached dad.
Actually, I think this was before his dad. Riley meets up with his dad. I think this was like from some interaction with his mom. I want to
Yeah,
say, but
like he was hacking up a lung when his mom was on the
That was
phone
it.
with Riley.
That was it.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
I thought that was a COVID thing, to be honest, but then they didn't really go anywhere with
yeah,
it. so-
that is another thing of just how one of the big things in the last couple years is how triggered I am by the sound of someone coughing.
Same. Same.
Fuck
Sorry.
you.
I'm gonna come over and fucking stab you.
Yay,
Well, then you can get your
friends.
clothes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, while
Yeah.
we're on the dad, I thought that was
While we're on the day.
there is a very this show is really good at being very natural with awkwardness.
Yes, I thought that the entire dinner scene was very natural feeling, and it was kind of like, wow, this feels like like either a dinner I've witnessed or been a part of.
And then like the break
felt-
happens, and you're like,
The what happened? Sorry, I missed
like
that.
when the dad breaks a little, and you're like,
The what? I felt the really awkward, almost hug in my soul.
oh yeah, the awkward almost hug. But
Where
yeah,
I'm just
that-
like, oh god, I can see me doing this. Ah!
I do think the dad is kind of an interesting character though, because like he's not bad, but he has no idea how to cope with the fact that his son killed somebody.
Is a murderer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, murder might not be the right word.
manslaughter.
Yeah, it was
Murder.
probably
Murder.
manslaughter.
Murder. Let's go with murder.
Vehicular manslaughter.
That's a very interesting thing we'll get on in episode 2. But the one of the really small details that I pointed out while we're in the house is that one of the movies on the giant list of Nat's movies he wants me to see
So
is
Seven?
Oh yeah,
and I was pointing out to Nat, I'm like, look, it's a 7 poster, and he's like, well, that makes sense because it's about the 7 deadly sins, and I'm like,
Yep.
That's
nice
what he
detail.
told me.
Oh,
I
that's
said that
what I
too.
thought. I thought the one character's head was going to wind up in a box at the end of the series. So
I mean, it is still entirely possible.
There are several episodes left.
yeah, there's 7 episodes left.
7, 7, 7, 7.
No. But yeah, that entire dinner scene was really uncomfortable, but in like the best way.
So uncomfortable.
Yeah, and just the show in general is very uncomfortable, and
Yeah.
I really like that.
So we've got, in terms of our players so far in episode 1, we got Riley, who is kind of our main protagonist, and his family, which includes his parents and also his younger brother.
What's his name? I have him down here somewhere.
Little
I
brother.
barely remember any names from this show.
Hold on, I have a note that he's very sassy. I know it's on here somewhere. Give me a sec.
This is my episode 1 notes before I really learned
Warren.
people's names.
His name's Warren.
Warren. Yeah.
Warren.
I would not have guessed that.
I literally go back and edit my notes so to actually learn names.
See, I don't, because it's very interesting to see the progression.
That's fair.
There's the brother's friend where they go on Cat Island to smoke weed.
Nice.
Weed.
Dude,
From
drugs.
that they bought from a guy named Bull.
This is before even Raul shows up. We are introduced to the racism element. Like he refers to Ali as Aladdin.
Yep.
Yeah.
I caught that. I'm like, really?
And drunk
Which
guy.
sounds like a very like high school, middle school way to be racist.
Yeah, because that's because the other friend there is as I put Sheriff Cooley's son. And they
Go
also refer to there's people who keep calling the sheriff Sharif or Omar Sharif.
Yeah.
I actually looked him up. His first name is Ali. So Sheriff Raul Cooley, his first name is Ali.
So his name's Ali Hassan.
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah, and then there's the mayor's family and the mayor's daughter who's in a wheelchair, and then my note is me upon seeing that brother's crush in a wheelchair. Oh, something horrible is gonna happen to her.
Or not.
Or the exact opposite for
Yeah.
now.
For now.
Now.
And also this is very much an episode 2 thing, because I really got more to see sense. But why the fuck is the mayor Ned Flanders?
His
Yeah, a bit.
opening scene in episode 2, his
You're
acting
totally right.
in that scene was phenomenal.
Just him being like super weird and telling the exact same story twice.
Like that
Ugh.
part, and then just the way he carried himself, like where he's trying to be nice, but he's also trying to maintain control of the situation. But it's just a weird mix of emotions all put together that was really fascinating to watch him act that out.
I am not Harry. Why do you ask?
And then we already established Bev Keane, or as I put in my episode 1 notes, racist Karen bitch.
Cunt. I'm just gonna call her cunt. How about
I
that?
mean, valid.
This bitch.
There's Riley's childhood girl next door who is pregnant by some means.
An ex-boyfriend,
Who
probably.
apparently the actress Kate Siegel is married to the director Mike Flanagan.
Makes sense.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which is why she's in all
Did
her.
you just say Katie Siegel?
No, Kate Siegel. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait a
And
Katie
you may
Siegel
remember
is,
her
is
as-
Wheela.
You may
Katie
remember her
Siegel.
as you may remember her as
What?
Viola from House of Bly Manor.
That's what I was literally just about to say.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
But yes.
Is it
Anyway,
the eyes, Harry? Is it the eyes? I have very small, beady eyes. It's a Swedish thing, believe it or not.
And then by extension, her doctor and her dementia-ridden mom, which is
yeah.
Her lesbian doctor.
yeah.
Lesbian doctors.
That's one of my notes in episode 2 is just lesbians! Exclamation.
I swear that's on a DVD cover somewhere. Lesbian doctors.
Or it could have been on one of the or that night where the dish broke at Nat's Theater and there was just showing porn channels. That was
Just
a great
the
night.
porn channels.
Just the porn.
Sus Priest, who we learn later is Father Paul.
Mhm.
And then, while we haven't seen him yet, Monsignor Peretti.
He's
Pruitt.
dead. Or
Or
a
Mon-
vampire.
Pruitt.
Monsignor Pruitt, thank you. Which is important because they establish he's got a very particular. He's off the island and probably
He's a
in
wannabe
the same-
detective.
in the animal terms is taken to a farm upstate probably.
Oh.
He dead.
But are called attention to his very particular style of dress because I think it was it Riley's brother that said he thought he saw him, and then in the big storm Riley thought he saw him and ran out to him with his hat and his coat.
Now that we're on the vampire train of thought,
Mm-hmm.
that particular getup, I don't know if I'm 100% accurate about it, but the hat specifically rings vague memories of me reading Bram Stoker's Dracula of the character Van Helsing.
Yeah.
Oh.
That hat.
So you're thinking of Van Helsing?
Dora?
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
fedora?
He has a hat similar to that. So, if this is vampires, I will be curious as to how Monsignor Pruitt plays into all of this.
You think that he's like more like a vampire hunter? Because I'm leaning more towards he is the vampire.
That was my initial thought as well.
Okay.
I don't
But
think
now,
Pruitt's a vampire. Pruitt, I think, is a vampire. Sorry, never mind. Yeah, you're right. Continue.
yeah,
Pruitt
that was
is the
my
old
initial
priest.
thought.
Oh, Catholics. What is Monsignor? Is that a title or a name?
It's just the
name, I
form of
think.
address, like saying father. Like,
Oh.
It sounds French.
It is.
it is.
Oh, it is. What?
Thank the Huguenots.
It sounds French. It is.
Fair enough.
And no, Harry, the nice guy hat is actually a trilby, not a fedora.
Yes. But both of them look terrible with cargo shorts.
I hate everyone. I hate the entire internet for conflating a trilby with a fedora.
Yeah.
There's also the dude on the dock that controls the boat to the mainland,
The fairy.
the ferry.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say controls the sea, and I was like, did I miss something? What? Did
He's Poseidon, you know.
I miss a scene?
Just casual Poseidon or I don't remember, but anyway.
Neptune.
Neptune. I was
Hi,
gonna be.
Neptune.
My brain's like, there's also a Norse god of the sea, but I can't think of that right now. Anyway, and there's also the town drunk.
Joe, I believe is his name.
Joe.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's the one that keeps saying Sharif instead of Sheriff.
Yes.
But from him, it doesn't feel none of the racism in this show feels malicious, if you know what I mean. Like it's not.
Well,
From
It
Bev,
is.
yes.
Okay,
Well.
well,
Bev is a bitch, and we need to kill her.
I meant
yeah,
everyone else.
she
is
had that
just
fucking quip about the mosque during the meeting. So
Yeah, okay. Other than Beth, none of the racism seems like malicious in intent. It's what's the word?
it's indifferent racism. It's just
uh,
what they're
Casual
used to.
racism.
casual
racism,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like it's not malicious. It's just kind of how they I guess they've never really had a brown person in their community before, or a Muslim person in their community before, so they're not really sure.
Still doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
What? Well, no, of course not.
Well, no, we're trying to point out the varying levels of.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to excuse it. What I'm saying is like it's not like KKK levels of racism, at least other than like what? Fuck off, Harry.
Like, for example, the Ned Flanders mayor in episode 2, he's like, I know you've got your thing, but if you could just show up to church
Yeah.
every Sunday, I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But that sounds
On
like
the-
something that a devout Catholic would say.
Yeah.
Although on the flip side, it is very interesting. I do really like the casual representation they do have of the Muslim religion so far as just showing Raul Cooley and his son doing the
Prayer.
I don't know exactly what it's called, the prayer with the
the prayer.
with the carpet
Yeah.
and whatnot, and
His son
doing
was
that, I'm
definitely
like-
half-assing it.
and I'm like, but that's still nice. It's just like
Yeah.
it's nice that it's, especially considering our culture and how we perceive Muslims in the last 20 years. It's nice to see that casual representation and be like, yeah, this is fine and not malicious or trying too hard to make a statement. It's just this is what the characters do.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I don't think I have seen Muslims praying in a fictional TV show in a way that wasn't exaggerated or comedic until this show. So
Fair. Yeah, that's valid.
Which side tangent, since I listen to podcast Idiots and Abroad, which Raul is on, and apparently like one of his best friends from childhood is a Muslim, and so he actually like went to him for a lot of like the subtleties of it, and
Character consultant.
He basically had him as a character consultant, and like he actually got like Mike Flanagan to change a couple details in the script to make it a little bit more accurate.
It's neat.
Right on.
Nice.
Love that.
I'd like to talk about Riley's dreams, because I think there were 3 over the course of the 2 episodes.
I think there were only 2, but
Might
they
be
were
2.
basically the same dream.
Where he's in the boat.
Yes.
Well, he falls asleep. Well, it's established in there were 3. One was at the very beginning.
Was in
In
the
prison.
prison, yeah.
In the prison, where he sees where he lies down, the camera slowly tilts onto its side, and you see flashing lights on his face, and it transitions to the dead girl.
Jump scare.
Kinda. I think the police sirens on his face makes it less of a jump scare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of
But
warning for it.
But there's one thing that you guys are forgetting is that I'm a little bitch.
Fair enough.
So
Um,
I even know that Mike Flanagan specifically rarely does jump scares, and even then I'm still like tensing up throughout the 10 scenes, like, oh, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? Motherfucker, you better not do it. Ugh.
Yeah, so he sees the dead girl with like half of her face missing, half her face is see-through, or am I seeing that wrong?
What it is,
Well,
I believe,
God damn
is
it, Harry.
it's the injuries she got from him, and then
That's
instead
what-
of the gore, it's the It's the lights.
Police lights,
Okay.
which I forgot to mention when we were on it, but I was going to mention, but I forgot. They fantastic makeup job on the gore in the first scene.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was unsettling.
Yep.
It didn't stand out to me, but I wasn't. I guess I
It
wasn't
was
looking super
very
close.
realistic, is what.
Fair
it was.
enough. So
Dead
he
girl
has.
Oh
that
wait, no, wait.
tort-
So with the
Dead-
dream, it goes back to if we're gonna stick with the vampire thing, vampires can't cross open water.
Unless they're in dirt,
Well, yeah,
Unless they're...
which means in a coffin.
right? Or in a trunk, I guess.
There is that, but I think the dream more specifically is half just him being completely isolated from everyone, and then half just him being totally helpless in his situation.
Well, there was
Yeah.
one image that I saw, and it was, I believe, it was the church with the blood on the walls. I think I don't remember if that was the first or the second. Yeah, it was the first episode. It was actually the first dream he had.
Well, after prison.
Yeah, after prison. That's what. Yeah, the first dream back on the island.
There was blood on the walls in the church. It was
Yeah.
it was like a real quick shot, but there was definitely blood.
Yeah. So that's
For some
interesting.
I remember seeing it.
He kind of I think episode 1 he kind of vents to what's his pregnant love interest.
Aaron.
Aaron, I
Aaron.
think.
Yeah, he vents to Aaron one of the lines that basically I shouldn't be alive, and it was just like, wow, this is extremely heavy.
That's
I
most
really
drunk
like-
driving people.
I mean, fair enough.
I really like the dynamic that they have because they both have shit that they've had to deal with in their life, and she's like actively trying to be like, I want to like help you, sort of, and he's just like, I can't do this. I am broken. No,
I don't deserve help. I
Yeah.
think the general gist
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic.
I
Between them.
really like her when she's like, oh, this is because he's like, oh yeah, I gotta go, can't deploy, or like my parents are expecting me, and then she's just like, oh yeah, I remember when you were 15 and climbed out of my window because you're about to miss curfew. I was like, ooh, spicy.
Spicy, yeah.
Spicy.
So then the storm happens, and Riley spots Monsignor Pruitt sprinting down the beach.
He's very spry for an 80-year-old.
Very spry for an old man.
Yeah.
And then when dawn happens, the town's all fucked up, and the beach is literally lined with dead cats.
Stuffed
I'm
animals.
really glad they used the fakest cat prop
Yeah.
as possible, because if it looked any more realistic, I would have lost my shit.
Literally, my first note for episode 2. Those are really fake-looking dead cats.
And no, I said that to Kevin too. I was like, I can handle fake dead cats.
Yeah.
What I can't handle is a dog eating a hot dog and dying.
I'm not there yet. We got to talk about the opening scene for just
But
the cinematography.
I think-
Yes, because Nat wanted to.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, he's like, pause here, and he's like, okay, 7:38. That was the first cut because the first 7 minutes and 38 seconds were just a continuous shot.
I love Warner.
love-
She's so
I
good.
love tracking
I
shots.
need to rewatch that.
Yeah, I was.
Just so you know, your water bottle is super loud on mic.
Oh, we
is it?
know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Warner was really fucking good. I noticed it probably like 3 or 4 minutes in. I was like, oh, they haven't cut yet.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
I
the,
didn't even
the other
catch
thing,
that.
the other thing Chris kind of pointed out is that to get because those look like real seagulls. They weren't like CGI
No, they
or
were
anything.
CG Seagulls.
Are you,
You think?
sure? They looked
They
pretty real to me.
look kind of CGI. It was really good CGI, but I'm seen so much CGI that I can just spot it.
I mean,
But
the way
it looked very good.
and it
looked very
it helped that the actors were actually like kind of like they were acting uncomfortable because I was like, that looks really real. Because like you're not comfortable with a bunch of flying, squawking birds. Like Aaron and Riley were just kind of like scrunching their shoulders as they were getting away, and I was like, yeah. I mean, I'm the one that offers a fry out to the seagulls to get them to do that. But you know,
I hate seagulls. I would
love
punch.
gulls. They're awesome.
I'll punch a seagull.
I mean, the fact that it tricked all of you into thinking it was real tells you how good it is. So.
Sorry, I just saw what Harry wrote.
I mean, I
Which
don't
one?
know. So if cats
Which one?
and dogs
No.
die in the show, what happens then? Do those thoughts neutralize out?
no, my thoughts are if people are killing animals, they deserve to die.
I was
Like-
laughing at the Capitol building thing,
Like
but
cruelty wise, like Beth.
Yeah,
And-
That bitch.
I had to rewatch the scene when the hot dog dropped, not when the dog died. I had to like compare to what she was wearing later on in the scene to the skirt, and I was like, all
no,
right.
because my brain
getting
is.
her
I
next
saw the
name.
shot of, and Doggo's name is Pike, so pour
Yeah,
one
Pike.
out for Pike. Fuck Bev Keen. Anyway, they showed him with the hot dog, and I'm like, oh no, that dog is too happy. Something horrible's gonna happen. But I thought it was gonna be like later on, not the next immediate fucking scene.
Yeah.
That dog was
That's
beautiful.
also very like it's the ramping up of the murders is like very like I like this kind of trope in horror stuff where it starts with the small animals, then the bigger animals, and then at the very end of the episode it moves on to the first person. So
Mm-hmm.
I think my literal fourth note is someone is going to die this episode, and then I added, "Oh look, I was right."
It's the drug dealer.
the
See, this
truth.
is what happens when you smoke weed. You learn to ignore well-timed opening doors.
I was going to say, I think I yelled during the movie. Like,
Oh, I
do
did.
horror movies not exist on this island?
I think Kevin also. He's like, don't do it.
I was like, if I'm walking down the street and a door
Yeah.
opens up creepily, I am running away.
No, yeah, me
This
too.
is why you need
No
to
thanks.
watch Scarface. Don't do your own supply.
Yeah, no, this is why. So not this is why, but when he said that, I'm like, yeah, and I'd also scream, "Not today, bitch!
Not today.
I ain't
'cause
that
the-
dumb."
The other... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's it.
I was gonna say, like, one of the other common things, because initially my dumb ass was like, werewolves? But Nat's like, no, but bats, because it's flying, and there's also the beady eyes that they keep showing, the green beady eyes.
Well,
like,
those-
on the island in episode 1, and then also right before drug dealer gets murked in episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah.
and I'm like, Batman, perhaps?
Ooh, that's a good
but-
point because
Man
they
bats.
they made it a point on that island to make it seem like those beady eyes were cat eyes, but that
Yeah,
could
then
all
they
be
weren't.
bat eyes.
Yeah,
Oh,
and the vampire thing
vampire
could
eyes.
still hold there with the bats. I didn't even think about vampires. My brain was like, werewolves. But,
It
Fuck
flies
you,
though.
Harry.
Wow.
We've literally like not like seen it flying, but like we've been in its eyes when it's flying
I know,
around.
I know, and that's why I was
Hey,
like,
oh
hang
yeah,
on,
that's what
myself
that
hang
shot
on.
was.
saying that was a really dumb...
Dragon.
By the way, that was a really cool shot too. The track was drone. It wasn't even a drone shot because that was basically a
Oh.
fake set.
It
but,
was CGI, yeah.
yeah, it was all CG, but that was a really cool shot too.
Yeah, 100%.
Steve, you need to
There
read the
is-
last two comments Harry just wrote.
I saw it. I told him to fuck off. All right. There's a great conversation between Father Paul and what is the daughter's name?
Lisa.
Lisa. And where and she says, "Where were you before this?" And I don't have the gist of it, but I think but he expertly dodges the answer to
I
that
said
question
the
with the
same
usual
thing.
religious bullshit.
I said the exact same thing in that moment. I'm like, wow, you sidestepped that immediately.
It's because he's just so obviously sus. He is so
Yeah.
obviously sus. You're either
But, like,
behind
too
it all,
obvious.
or you're
It's so
red herring us
obvious.
Why do you
away.
have
He's
an
red
apple
herring.
up here?
Because it was for lunch one day and I forgot about it.
But in this episode, we introduced that one of the things that Riley has to do is he has to go to AA, and
Sorry, that's
I thought
the
Steve
one.
was laughing at AA for a second.
No, the one person AA meeting started out hilariously awkward.
And
I
I love how
really
he's
love
like, I
that
didn't
scene.
realize how
Oh, it was great.
awkward
It was
this would
great.
be.
I've got a bunch of notes on that scene.
Yeah, because it starts off and then he's just like, "Well, I can do it," and just the hearing them talk and just hearing Riley's perspective on religion was just, and having the balls to say this to a religious man's face and him not really having a response to that was just incredible. Although I'm so trained from Bly Manor because the shots of that where they were just slightly off center.
Yes, I noticed.
I'm like, that is that dead girl in the background because god damn it. But
Okay, so people who are more into cinematography, what is like the off-center shots trying to tell us?
Nat thinks it was more of just showing the how vast and open this space is.
Or
It's
maybe
part of
two
that 'cause,
sides of
like,
the same coin?
It's also, I'm gonna simplify this as much as I possibly can, but when you're shooting a shot, it's not the rule of the rule of thirds, not the rule of threes. That's a narrative trope. The rule of thirds is that the frame is divided into 3 segments vertically and 3 segments horizontally. If you shoot something like straight on in the center of the frame, that looks kind of awkward after the 3rd or 4th time you do it. So a lot of times in cinema, you'll just see something like slightly off to the side of the frame. They'll be in like the left third or the right third of the frame. It's just general cinema practice.
That rule of that practice also goes for just art in general.
Yes, art
like,
in
and
general.
not even art, even like aquascaping. Like when people talk about aquascaping, that's a huge thing. And I'm not trying to make it nerdy and bring it back to fish tanks or anything, but like, I mean, it's a legit thing when people talk about like artistic aquascaping and stuff.
I can't even make fun of him because I know he's right. But also about that scene, I really liked the editing in that scene, the way that the shots jumped around a lot to show just how he was he was getting a little bit unhinged with his like little diatribe. So I thought that was a cool little editing trick that they were doing for it.
I think my big note on this was he brought up something, actually a term I learned, basically the problem of evil, where basically if you have God is hypothetically an omnipotent, all-loving being, but if he's a perfect, omnipotent, all-loving being and evil exists in the world and he does nothing to stop it, he's either a monster or he doesn't exist. So I think I really feel where Riley's coming from. So I relate to that like pretty viscerally. And Father Paul has traipses around it with the usual kind of God in mysterious ways bullshit.
I will say, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, but it's interesting in the fact that Riley doesn't waver on it. That's what I really like about that scene, is that because I think the dichotomy, because we were mentioning the scene earlier with Lisa, of how he was able to sort of do that sort of strafing around her, but he can't do that with him.
I also think it's interesting that we had that scene, and he specifically mentions the incident with Lisa in that scene. And then we get to the very end of the episode, and Father Paul heals Lisa. So I thought that was I will be interesting to see if he considers that a rebuttal to Riley's worldview.
Oh, kind of like look, God healed her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I feel like Riley wouldn't
accept it.
Yeah.
I think, see, I got a different vibe from that, though. I got Father Paul kind of realizing, oh, maybe he's right. Maybe I could do something about it. Because I think that, like, he really did do something. I don't know what he did, but he caused her to stand up like that. So I think it was more of like, maybe I should use this power for good.
Well, because if you notice, Riley's mom at the beginning of episode 1 had glasses on. And then when she first took, or after she first took her communion with Father Paul, her glasses caused
is that what that scene was supposed
yeah,
to be?
caused her vision to be
Okay.
blurry, and then she's no longer seeing with glasses anymore.
I didn't catch that at all.
Because I saw her doing that. I just didn't know what that scene was supposed to be doing. But okay, I get it now. Yeah.
Was that where she stuck her finger with the
Yeah.
pin?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, what was the point of that? Blood vampires? I don't know.
But she's like playing with her glasses and she just takes them off. She leaves them off.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
Oh, okay, so a little bit of something with that as well. He did Father Paul I just made a connection. Father Paul does communion with the old with lesbian doctor's mom. And later that night, I mean, she's not like, significantly better, but like she has her first coherent sentence in the entire fucking show, where she calls out for her daughter and said that there was something at the window, basically.
Her
So
father, I think.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
so yeah, there's a little dementia there still, but like that was the first coherent, loud sentence that she said in the show, I think.
I don't think it's dementia. I think this is vampires plus shapeshifters.
Well,
So-
no. The old lady has dementia.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna throw the shapeshifting thing out there,
Okay.
Why?
I'll go
Or I
for it.
guess
Okay.
specifically because of that.
Skinwalkers.
specifically because of Bev.
No, that scene with the grandma, the
Oh.
older.
Or are you thinking the vampire or whatever it is like taking the form of people's loved ones?
Yeah,
Okay, interesting.
Oh fuck. Oh, am I the only one who thinks like the old lady looks like a young lady in old lady makeup?
No.
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 No,
I
I
guess
didn't
it's just
get
me then.
that. I mean, she
don't know.
doesn't look. Now that she looks like a 60-year-old woman in 80-year-old woman makeup, but I wouldn't
That's
say she
fair.
looks like a young woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say like it's got the I could be totally wrong that that's actually how the actress looks, but I get like it looks like it's like a time travel episode in a TV show, and they olded up a character, if you know what I mean.
That's
Aged
fair.
up.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
But so just going back to the whole shapeshifter vampire thing, and that's the problem we're gonna run into. I think is that this definitely feels like a monster kind of show.
Yeah.
But the problem with a lot of monster lore these days is there's so much like ambiguity and like creative freedom when you're talking about specific monsters. Where it's like, so I know that for some things like skinwalkers and shapeshifters, they need to actually like consume the person or like, see the person in order to take their form. So that would imply that this thing has been around for a while, just lying in wait kind of thing.
Well, they also said that this isn't new.
Right? Yeah.
That stuff like this has happened before. And one of the things that I meant to bring up in episode 1 is that one of the things Nat said is that he's like, this setup just feels very Stephen King in this small coastal town that may or may not be Maine. Do we actually know where the town is?
No, I don't think it's not
It's
specific. I
based-
googled it. It's not a real place either.
It's not. It's based off. Well, it was shot in Vancouver or an island in Vancouver.
It feels
somewhere.
like very northern coast town.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
maybe
But
like
also
northern
everything
Maine.
is shot in Vancouver,
Maine,
so
Maine, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It feels Maine.
So Stephen King, because like all of his
Every story is in Maine.
and also I'm pretty sure the guy that did this also did Doctor Sleep. So
Ooh, really?
yes, he did.
yeah,
I need to see that.
So
I love the book.
it does have a kind of similar build up to that in terms of in terms of that.
Okay.
So I
we've been-
looked up I looked up the actress for the dementia mother character. It is Alex Esso, who is 29 years old.
Okay, so Steve was right.
Oh,
So I guess Steve was right.
okay. Good job, Steve. Good call. Maybe she'll get her youth back.
That's kind of
That's the old. But that's really the only reason why I can think of. We're having an old person play a
that
young
would
person.
be cool. Oh, that would be so cool.
Yeah, that's the only reason why they would do that. I think she's gonna
that was kind of my prediction. It's like
she's
it's
gonna
just
become a
something
vampire and get her youth back.
There was just something uncanny valley about her that just didn't sit quite right with me.
Who brought in the trunk? Did we actually see their face? By the way,
It was
Father Paul.
Yeah,
did we
I saw
actually see that? Because
I
we saw
saw
it from
his
the top down.
I saw his hair.
Okay.
It had similar hair. We don't see his face, but we also don't see his face until the mask.
You also
so.
see him sitting in that cabin with the chest, like right before the storm hits too. So
True, but it's open. Well, I guess so. I guess the thing I'm thinking about is that if there is some sort of like youth regeneration thing going on, that would explain why Monsignor Pruitt was able to run like that. And why he has to hide right now because he's young.
Yeah.
If becoming a vampire really does make you like young again, which I imagine that's the direction this is kind of going, is that the communion that they're all taking is eventually going to become like vampire blood, and they're all going to become vampires. Like they're trying to form their coven or whatever.
Oh,
taking a real John Landis approach to vampire.
there was a scene, I believe, in the first episode. We have to we're the altar boys. We have to refill the wine decanters. They're already filled.
I thought that was just a reference to the fact that the new priest showed up and he was just like taking care of stuff. But
I think it's both at this point because you brought it up, and the mother's eyesight got better after taking communion, and the old lady seemed to get a little bit better after taking communion. I like this idea.
It's
I'm
all
digging
connected, baby.
So we should probably wrap this up. Actually,
Yeah, I was gonna say we've been going for an hour.
Monica?
I do have one specific thing I do want to bring up before we wrap up because I found it very interesting. Outside of the whole fantastical element of it, one of the things that I've really dug in episode 2 was the difference in the trauma handling between Danny from Bly Manor and Riley is wild. Because they do have those similar tropes of kind of the physical haunting of the dead loved one that is there, and it's very interesting because in the whole thing with Bly Manor is her coming to acceptance where it happened a little bit more recently, whereas Riley has been living with this for 4 years. And I think it was in the second dream sequence where he's like, so how's your day? And just like wow, like just like how he's so because again with the whole thing with Danny is that she was very scared of this demon, whereas he is comfortable with his demons. He has a familiarity with them.
There's that, but he also was like tearing up in that scene too.
Yeah.
Like if you look closely, so.
But still, like it's very interesting, like seeing that same trope, but the way that they handle their trauma differently.
Yeah, because prison. Very well known for processing trauma well.
Does anyone else have any ending thoughts?
Yeah, I did. Well, not really. Ending thought was kind of. It was more kind of funny where they shows the beast hunting, and it seems to be stalking Erin for a bit. And my note on that is, why the fuck does she have the window to her looking into her bathroom open? Why would you not have like the curtains drawn? That's where you take
the
off your
island has
pants.
127 people on it.
That's true.
All of which is foot traffic.
But
At
she
night.
just gonna
Anyone
lose
can
that
walk
baby
by.
though.
In the middle of the night, though.
Still,
She might be into it.
But
Also,
I will say
I-
that scene. He does the fucking Mike Flanagan thing where it's not a jump scare. It's just something moves in the frame and it scares the shit out of you. It moves at like a normal rate, but it still scares the shit out of you.
it's so good whenever he does that.
Especially because you realize
You're
for
looking
like
for the thing, and then it's just like, hey, bye.
it's there for like 5 seconds. and then it moves. like it, like
Yeah.
I remember I saw it almost immediately, and I was just kind of like, oh, there it is. Wait,
Oh, I
wait
couldn't
for
see it
and
at
then
all until it
moved.
I
very
actually had
creepy.
my own kind of adoy moments that like Monica did was I had a note early on where he's the drunk, he probably hit her with his car, but then I realized that it's an island and there aren't any fucking cars on it. So
Yeah, we don't know what the honey incident is.
Oh, he shot her.
Yeah,
Yeah, the hunt. Well, I think
Honey? Wait, what?
hunting.
Oh, hunting.
Oh, I heard that as honey.
No,
no,
hunting.
no, it was hunt.
I also heard that as honey.
I'm almost positive it was hunting.
No,
It was
I mean, that
hunting.
makes
They just
more
have an
sense.
accent.
That makes a lot more sense than honey incident, but
Bear. He covered her in honey in a bear molder.
I like that it's northern rural is like the feel of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got. Other than my notes when she stands up are she can walk. Fucking what? How does that work? I have so many questions. Is he a wizard?
That was the one scene I remember from the trailer for this from a few months ago. So I knew
I
that
didn't
was
watch
gonna.
the trailer.
Oh, okay. I didn't even see that. I don't think I saw any trailers either. I just saw like stills and stuff of promotional stuff on like on Twitter.
like I
Yeah.
said, the only thing I saw was Raul Cooley in that very comfortable looking jacket.
Yeah.
Okay. So that'll wrap it up for Media Club. We'll be watching episodes 3 and 4 for next week. So make sure you follow along.
I am going to go pee. I gotta pee really bad.
All right,
Hear
we're
me?
gonna have to rapid fire because we've still got like more than half of our topics left.
You know.
Yeah.
Ryan, sports, go.
Okay. The NFL's most receiving yards after turning 40 years old. Jerry Rice, who's in the Hall of Fame, 2,169 yards. Tom Brady, 6 yards. Brett Favre, who's in the Hall of Fame, -2 yards. Newly hired head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars, Doug Peterson, will only need 3 wins to move into 5th place all-time in Jacksonville Jaguars history as head coach, unseating the current 5th place holder, the recently fired Urban Meyer. Speaking of the Jaguars, they have hired more head coaches in 4 years than the Pittsburgh Steelers have since the NFL-AFL merger in 1970.
Huh?
The Steelers have had 3 coaches since then and are still currently on their 3rd. According to lids.com, the top-selling NFL jersey for the state of Illinois was Justin Fields, quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Before anyone says anything, it's like, well, Chicago's in Illinois, stupid. The top-selling jersey for Wisconsin, home of the Green Bay Packers, was also Justin Fields.
Who do they have to root for right now? No one.
The NFL announced last Wednesday that Munich, Germany, and Frankfurt, Germany will host a game once a year for 4 years, starting next season, 2 each, Munich getting the first one. Mexico will also be hosting a game next season as well. Longtime former running back for the Washington Commanders, John Riggins, was quoted, "I can't understand how anybody who played under the old franchise name could possibly want to be part of anything with the Washington Commanders." For context, he has long advocated for Washington to change their name, like really fucking long advocated. This was more of a decision of choosing the team name Commanders. The University of Florida football team will be selling custom jerseys with their players being compensated for each of their jerseys sold.
Oh.
Nice.
Now, if ISU did something like that. Brush off your Indeed.com resume, especially if you're interested in the assistant coach position for Georgia Tech University football. Yes, the posting is real. I've seen it. The Indiana University, Purdue University of Indianapolis college basketball team, yes, that's a real university, is now recruiting players from the regular student body because they are so bad and just have a lot of injuries on the team that they're down to 6 players.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
No, I'm not trying out. Honduras had to play their World Cup qualifier versus the USA in minus 19 degrees Celsius weather in Minnesota. 2 players needed to be forced off with hypothermia, and others needing IV drips.
Why the
Wait.
fuck were they playing soccer in Minnesota?
Because they're idiots.
Wait. Oh, hold on. Never mind.
Is that the U.S.'s secret to getting farther in the World Cups? Like, you gotta play
It's the only way we can qualify at this point.
Negative 2 degrees Fahrenheit. That's awful.
West Ham United player Kurt Zoma was caught on video kicking his cat. While he was not investigated by police, the club has fined Zoma 2 weeks' pay, with the fine being donated to animal welfare, which of course is done after the club played Zoma in order to move in the standings and losing some club sponsors in the process. Zoma has also lost sponsors of his own and still faces charges and potentially up to 4 years in prison.
Good.
Tottenham is considered making a bid to host the Super Bowl in 2026.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
I
what
don't
that
know.
means.
Why?
They're gonna play the Super Bowl in England.
Oh.
Oh,
Sorry, I sorry. You said Super Bowl and I heard World Cup. So
Presumably due to COVID and that they are taking it seriously now, and or the fact that Russia's trying to start World War III, the Continental Hockey League, Russia's NHL, has canceled the rest of their regular season and are going straight into playoffs. This results in their teams missing roughly 6 to 11 games each in total from this season due to COVID. In general, the KHL season starts earlier than the NHL does and doesn't last as long. And I don't know the exact game totals in general. Former Boston Bruins goalie Tuukka Rask retired from professional hockey last week, and he retires with the most wins as a starting goalie drafted by the Toronto Maple Leafs, of whom Rask has never played a game for, as he was traded from Toronto to Boston in 2006 for Andrew Raycroft, who the Leafs thought would have a higher upside than Rask. They were wrong. Very wrong. New Jersey Devils defenseman P.K. Subban will be in the newest Jackass movie, taking slap shots, testing how protective a jockstrap really is.
Oh no!
Did that already come out?
I hope you're done having kids, my dude.
Pretty sure the Jackass movie already came out.
yeah, I think it's out.
Yeah.
Anaheim Ducks legend Teemu Selanne, during the 1990s, would drive in rally races while playing in the NHL. He adopted the pseudonym Teddy Flash to not be recognized, although he was found out immediately. New York Rangers goalie Igor Shesterkin was asked if he's noticed that his name has been tossed around regarding potentially winning the Vezina Trophy for best goaltender this season, responded with, "No, I don't speak English." In English.
Hey, you only gotta know one phrase.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch.
Finally, a local high school student in Evanston, Illinois, became the first girl to make the boys' varsity hockey team since the early 2000s, and the first African American to do so.
Yeah,
Oh,
nice.
yeah.
Nice.
Sports
Very
corner.
nice.
No, 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 no.
Um,
I believe I'm up
there's
next.
there's sports in Iron Man 2. There's a race car scene.
There is a race
sports.
car scene.
Oh yeah, it's been a
Oh,
hot
yeah.
ass minute since I've seen Iron Man 2.
And 2 holds up real well.
I agree with you, Steve.
I never understood why people disliked that movie.
It's fine. It's not as good as the first one, and the 3 is better, and 3 is better, but it's a fine movie. The
See,
special effects are really good. Robert Downey Jr. is fucking kills
Fucking Mickey
it.
Rourke.
Mickey Rourke is still pretty good.
I find myself in a weird boat for the Iron Man movies. I think they just get better as they go. I think 1 is the worst one.
I agree.
That being said, I still think
Oh.
it's great. I still think it's
That's
a
a
great
hot
movie,
take.
but I think it's my least favorite of the 3 of them.
I would go worst to best 2, 1, 3 is what I would.
So
do.
you think 3 is
Yeah,
the best?
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of hate for 3. Like, a lot of people don't like Iron Man 3, and I'm kind of like, Iron Man 3 is
It's
great.
all because of what they did of the Mandarin fake out. That's like 90%
I
of the
love the
reason.
Mandarin fake
Which
out.
I also love the Mandarin fake out.
And the fact that they retconned that in Shang-Chi a little bit and the way they handled that in Shang-Chi is also really.
Yeah, and at first I also hated the fake out too, because I was kind of like, that sounds cheap. But then the more I thought about it, the more. But that also kind of started the whole they're not going to follow the comics to a T thing, which really helped, I think.
But anyway, Iron Man. I had a great time with Iron Man 2. Justin Hammer. Who fucking plays Justin Hammer? Motherfuck. Guy who plays Justin Hammer is fucking stellar. There was only like a couple scenes where I felt it wasn't great, or like it kind of felt a little out of character. Is the one where Rhodey grabs the Mark II suit and then him and Tony just kind of throw down in his living room, and I'm like, that's not really in character for either of them.
Well,
But like,
I mean,
Sam Rockwell fucking
Damn,
killed
you
it.
beat me to it.
I mean, Tony was drunk and dying.
Tony, okay, it tracks
Drunk and
for-
dying.
It tracks for Tony. It really doesn't track for Rhodey, though. At least from what we've seen of him. I don't know. That was the one scene where I was just like, eh.
Was Iron Man 2 when they recast?
Yeah.
Rhodey?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
because in the first movie it was Terrence Howard.
There was
Yeah.
there was a great scene where he's both talking to Tony and to the audience at the same time, where he says, "I'm here. It's me. Let's move on."
Yep, I remember that. Which
Because
I mean,
I think the original actor like went to jail or got in trouble or something.
No,
No, he just didn't want to be part of it.
No, he wanted more money was
Yeah.
the problem,
That's
and they
what-
weren't willing to pay him more than Robert Downey Jr. to be a side character.
fair, especially because during the first one, I didn't think he really like stood out
No.
super
No,
well.
not at all.
Yeah.
Terrence
No.
Howard is not amazing. Anyway,
So
Iron
what
Man 2.
occasion were you like, yes, Iron Man 2? Because that just seems really random.
Me and Vanessa are doing a chronological rewatch of all the Marvel movies. We're trying to do one movie a week. So
That
Yep.
makes sense.
yeah,
We did
so
that
we're,
last year.
So that was 2 weeks ago. This past weekend we watched Thor. Does not hold up.
Nope.
Not at all.
It was a movie. It was easily my least favorite of
It's
Phase 1.
100% my least favorite. Like I am.
Well-
I'm gonna wait till I see it, but I think I'm gonna like Thor 2 more than I like Thor
You're
1.
gonna
and
like
that's kinda
Thor
sad.
Ragnarok. the
Yeah, I don't know about
Oh,
that.
Thor
but-
Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok blows both of them out.
I was gonna say Thor is the worst of Phase 1, but I forget that there is technically a Hulk movie in there.
Technically, yes.
we were actually planning on watching that, but it's not on any streaming service. So
Yeah, because they
not
just
watching it.
decided it's not canon.
But it is canon.
Unofficially.
It's so canon.
Unofficially.
well, the Abomination actually shows up in
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Yep. Well, that and the fact that
Um,
Robert Downey Jr. shows up at the end, like
He's
Iron Man
a
shows up at
post-credit
the
scene.
end of the Hulk movie. He's there. He's like, "What if I told you to put in a team together?"
But Thor 1 doesn't hold up real well. Like a lot of the special effects are really bad, actually. It's like all of Asgard looks like a cartoon. Like not in a good way either.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, I'd
Asgard
put
looks
Thor-
like ass.
I'd put Thor 1 and 2 kind of on the same level of like
It-
not
it-
being super great.
Also,
you
they
wanna-
dyed Chris Hemsworth eyebrows. It's weird.
If you want a really interesting like video essay thing, for the music of the Marvel movies, every frame of painting has a video called the Marvel Symphonic Universe, and he focuses
Yeah.
a lot on the Thor movie, and like, I'll just say watch that. It's called the Marvel Symphonic Universe.
Which I think, because I remember you showed me that, and it starts with them like going around asking people like sing like the Avengers theme, and no one could do it. But
Yeah.
then like I feel like the producers of Marvel,
They watched that video.
They
and
watched
then
that
they're
video.
like,
They were like,
okay.
okay, they got a point.
Yeah, and then Infinity
they
War
shaped
came
it up.
around, and then
Yeah. And I mean, I guess I'll just say, I mean, I like we were talking about like the worst ones of Phase 1. I've never really liked the first Captain America movie. Just
Agree.
I
It grew on me the
Yeah.
second rewatch though.
it,
I
it-
liked
it-
it.
yeah.
it grew on me now that I kind of know where everything goes. I like it better than Thor 1.
That's fair.
But
Yeah.
I often forget that Christopher Eccleston was the bad guy in Thor 2. Hell, I remember
he
was
watching
a
it and seeing the credits and being like,
He had
oh
one
yeah,
line.
that's right.
They
Yeah.
wasted his ass. On the
I
bright
didn't
side,
know
he
he
was
was
under
in
so
that.
much. On the bright side, he was under so much makeup. So if they want to cast him as another character, they can totally do it.
That's probably why I didn't know it was him, because he was under so much makeup.
His
but
ears gave it away.
he had elf ears, didn't he?
Yeah.
But his
Yeah, you
ears
had
are
elf
just
ears.
ears
in
in
general.
general. Anyway,
Well, that's fair.
His head is half ears.
his head.
But
This is
An-
his head.
Anthony
These are
Hop-
his ears.
Anthony Hopkins and Tom Hiddleston fucking steal that movie, though. Both of them are fucking incredible in that movie. Chris, I still can't take Natalie Portman seriously as a brilliant astrophysicist, and I don't know if that's her or if it's the directing. I just don't.
It's
It's
the
okay.
writing.
It's why I couldn't get behind Interstellar. Is the same.
I can't.
premise
Oh, don't worry,
with
Sam. I
Matthew
cannot take
McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey as a smart human being either.
All right.
Alright.
Um,
No, it's nothing against Natalie Portman. I actually enjoy her and think she's way too good for Star Wars. But like, I think it might just been like the writing or the direction. She doesn't sell me as a brilliant astrophysicist for whatever reason. Maybe Thor, Love and Thunder will change my mind.
so,
I
someone.
don't think she's going to be an astrophysicist in that movie.
No, she's going to be fucking Thor in that movie.
Yeah, she's
yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
fucking
She's
Thor.
already cast as Thor.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Which is
I
going to
mean,
be
she
some
was
multiverse
fucking
shit.
Thor already. That's
Oh yeah.
You see, and that's either going to be some multiverse shit, or it's going to be like some just like Hammer has chosen a new person shit. Because it's
I
like
mean,
whoever has
likely
the hammer is
multiverse
Thor.
shit.
Most likely.
We've already established
Um,
the Hammer just doesn't give a fuck at this point. So
Well, also
Me and
speaking
yours,
of
like, I don't fucking care.
speaking of multiverse shit, I saw a picture today, and it was from the leaked cast credit list from
I've
Multiverse
seen
of
this.
Madness, and like the first half it's kind of like, okay, this is all believable stuff, and I'm not gonna say it just because it is true, but there are some wild ones at the bottom, and these ones I will say just because I don't think they're true at all, but it was like Sam Witwicky played by Shia LaBeouf, and then it was just
Come
like
on, we need
and it was
Shia LaBeouf.
and it was just like the four main characters from like the Fast and the Furious franchise. And I'm just kind of like, okay, this is
Disney
probably
property.
yeah, like this is probably fake.
All I'm saying is Patrick Stewart's voice was in the trailer. We know who Patrick Stewart is famous for playing in Marvel movies.
Picard.
Yep.
Well, yes, but I was thinking more Professor X. I mean, in my heart,
done.
he's always going to be Jean-Luc Picard, but he is also Professor Charles Xavier.
Yes, but then we also saw, because I mean the guy that they showed up on the high chair or whatever had a big emblem on his chest. So pretty sure that's a Reed Richards.
Yeah, we're
Don't know who,
well,
but
So there's a Marvel storyline in the comics that I'm not particularly familiar with, but I'm aware it exists. It's called the Illuminati, which is basically
Oh.
Professor.
that's what Harry just said.
Yep, which is Professor X, Reed Richards, Tony Stark.
So it's all the geniuses.
Doctor Strange, and I think there's one guy from the I want to say Black Panther's in there. And I want to say there's a guy from the Inhumans, Black Bolt, but I don't know. I know fuck all about the Inhumans, so I can't speak on him.
People were saying that that they're hoping Tom Cruise is a cameo because he was supposed to be the original Tony Stark. So
Like a variant.
yeah. So people are hoping that there's going to be a variant on the Council of Tony Stark and it's going to be Tom Cruise.
I'd be down with that. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Marvel movies. They're good shit.
Yes, movies are good. Movies are always good.
Speaking
Speaking of
of
movies.
and Marvel, so I did not have any time to watch any movies the last 2 weeks. But look, don't give me that shit. I had a show running. Nat is in rehearsals. For
No,
show
my
right now.
eyebrow. My eyebrow was because I thought you were being sarcastic.
No, literally, we did not have any time. But the Oscar nominations were recently announced, so I decided we'd talk about some Oscar noms. So, in case you weren't following, Power of the Dog leads with the most nominations, having 12 nominations, while Dune has 10. Nat and I had the ability to watch it in real time. He's like, Dune, Dune, Dune. And I'm like, fuck you and your love of Dune.
Hey.
It was a good movie. I didn't like.
What about
I
this
see
Power of the
how it's a
Dog?
master. It's on Netflix apparently.
Sorry, yeah.
Or it had a limited theatrical release, then was released on Netflix. It's one of those like it's probably gonna be the best picture.
Artsy fartsy ones.
Yeah, one of those artsy fartsy ones. So we
They're
always
always
make a
artsy
point.
fartsy.
Yeah. The the there were out of the 10 best picture nominees, one of the things Nat always does, and I've been doing the last couple years, is that we always make a point to try to watch what we think is going to be the best picture nominees, and try to watch all of them. So I personally have watched 4 of them. So that is Dune, West Side Story, Nightmare Alley, and Licorice Pizza. So there's 6 that are still left to be seen. It's not trash. It is a very artistic masterpiece, one that I personally didn't connect with as much. So the next 6 I'll likely go over in the next next 5 to 6 weeks. One of the things that always talks about when it comes to what's nominated and what wasn't. And there were a lot, as with every year, there were some surprising snubs. The only ones that I personally felt that were truly snubbed were Cate Blanchett for Best Supporting Actress, because she was phenomenal in Nightmare Alley. West Side Story for Adapted Screenplay, because as I talked about when I did my Monica's movie of it, is a masterclass in how to properly adapt a musical for cinema. And probably the biggest one, or one of the bigger ones, Denis Villeneuve was not nominated for directing, but Dune was nominated for everything fucking else. There also there were House of Gucci had a lot of buzz, but only was really nominated for costume and makeup. The biggest one, obviously, being Lady Gaga, was snubbed as well. I know Jared Leto was also being talked about. Apparently, Jared Leto was nominated for a Razzie for House of Gucci. I didn't think he was that bad, but it would have been an interesting dichotomy to be nominated for a Razzie and an Oscar for the same role.
That'd be funny.
I keep forgetting that Lady Gaga is just an actress now.
Oh yeah, she doesn't release
good
music.
for her.
Yeah,
Apparently, she's really good at it, though.
She was in that like country music one too.
Stars Born.
Yeah.
That was country music?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Never saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, just a couple of other interesting things. There was a movie nominated called Flea, which is an animated documentary, and it was nominated both for documentary and animated feature, and it is also a film from Denmark, so it's also nominated for international feature, which is a very interesting little Venn diagram.
It's called Flea.
Flea, FLE.
Okay.
I'm gonna butcher this pronunciation, but those Arugutias, I think from Encanto, was nominated for Best Song. And
Caterpillars,
blows.
I think.
The story is that it was submitted to the Academy well before We Don't Talk About Bruno blew the fuck up.
Or fucking
banger.
Surface Pressure.
That was good too.
Yeah, Surface Pressure is the better song. But typically ballads do better than upbeat songs for Best Song. So that's kind of why they did that.
I did watch a good TikTok though of someone who was like classically trained, not classically trained, but like was like trained for like score writing and songwriting and stuff, and he was just going over like the complexity behind We Don't Talk About Bruno, about making all those different diverse sounds and those diverse rhythms and those diverse lyrics kind of still mesh together at the end, and how like that was technically like a very technical piece to do.
Yeah, Harry also brings up an interesting point, because another one that the internet was crying about was that No Way Home was not nominated for Best Picture, which honestly, I didn't think it was Best Picture worthy.
No.
It is a very big and typically the Oscars don't always go by commercial successes for movies. Still nominated for effects though.
It was
for
a
that.
great movie, but like it's not like a cinematic
It is
masterpiece by
it
any
is
by
a
any stretch
fan
of the
service.
imagination.
It is a fan
yeah.
service fest.
I
Oh,
will. I
100%.
will repeat what I posted on Twitter, and that is, no Marvel movie should be allowed within 30 miles of an Oscar that isn't Best Visual Effects, except Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which can look through the window from the street outside.
Yeah. But
What
Black Panther was well deserved though.
what I was gonna say was that, so the People's Choice Award, do people actually vote on that?
Yeah, so that's what I was
Okay.
going to
I
say.
assume that's
So
what it's for.
I don't know.
there's a campaign that the Oscars are running for voting for like the fan favorite
Which
movie
there
of
should be a
2021.
there should be a fan favorite category, I think.
Yeah, and that's could be your opportunity to be like, oh, what about No Way Home? Oh, what about one of the things that I'm surprised about now that I was thinking about it is that Last Duel was completely ignored because I thought that was a lot better than House of Gucci, but
Oh, I heard some mixed things about The Last Duel.
I really loved Last Duel though, but that made it just me. So, just as a quick, just to go over only the 10 best pictures, so that way you know what I'm talking about. God damn it, I lost where it was.
While you're looking for that, I will say once again, me being an anime fan, fucking grumbling about the best animated picture category. Now, normally I wouldn't be too upset about it, but there was literally a film last year called Pumpo the Cinephile, which is the most Hollywood filleting film ever, and it didn't even get nominated. Like, this is the most Oscar baity animated film I've ever seen. And it's screened in the U.S., so there's no excuse.
I don't really like the Oscars anymore, just because like I feel like whoever the Academy is just like a bunch of stuck-up old white men.
Well, also half of it's paid for, so.
Oh yeah, it's entirely paid for. I mean, it's all just a big pat ourselves on the back kind of night. Look at us. We did so good this year.
The Cinephile. It's really fucking good.
Did you find the list?
I did find
Okay.
the list.
If not, I have it.
Yeah, I do too. So, Belfast, which is one that I haven't seen. Nat ended up seeing. I think that one is still in theaters, but if not, I think you can catch it on Prime. Coda, which is on Apple TV. Don't Look Up, which, given all the hype surrounding it, very surprised it only went away with 3 nominations.
Please tell us when you watch that one. I want to watch that one.
Yes, like I said, I'll probably be watching it within the next like 5 or 6 weeks. Don't Look Up, because I've heard a lot of good things about that. Drive My Car, which is a Japanese movie, which I'm personally, out of the ones that I have left to watch, I'm the most excited for, given how much I consume Japanese media, and it being mainly animated Japanese media. I'm curious to see how this live action Japanese storyline would work, and I'm excited for that. Dune, obviously. King Richard, which is the one I'm personally least excited to watch, just because because it's about the father of Serena and Venus Williams. And I feel like the concept of focusing on the father of Serena and Venus Williams rather than the girls themselves feels like not only a missed opportunity, but just feeding Will Smith's gluttonous ego. Yeah. Licorice Pizza, which out of the ones that I have seen, I think is the weakest. Nightmare Alley, good shit, would recommend. The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story.
I want to see West Side Story.
It is very good.
He's never seen
very,
it.
very good. I know West Side Story is still, I think, in theaters, but is coming to Disney Plus and HBO Max on March 2nd. Drive My Car is coming to HBO Max on March 5th. I think King Richard is still in theaters a little bit here and there. Licorice Pizza, it only currently is in theaters right now. And then Dune already has like a physical release and is on like Prime and shit.
Oh wow.
Power of Dogs on Netflix. I forgot to mention that.
Sorry, I was just looking. Drive My Car is 3 hours long.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a trek.
Yeah. It was funny because the director for Drive My Car is also nominated for Best Director, and when that when we were, because we watched the Oscar nomination live, and when we saw their name come up, Nat's like, oh, who did that person push out? And the answer was Denis Villeneuve. But yeah, again, I'm really excited to watch these movies and see how they go. I probably will do an Oscar ballot once it gets a little closer, and maybe we can all do one if y'all are interested. And yeah, hopefully I
I will
have time
watch
to watch
it, but you can tell me if I won the next week.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. And
I do
and
like
that's-
John Bernthal, Harry. He's great in The Punisher.
Was that all?
That is all. I didn't really
Nice.
have all that much because of just everything.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. So yeah, the Nintendo had a direct, and
Yeah,
it
they did.
was 90% remakes and remasters.
Oh,
Turbo.
goody! Just what
Really?
I was looking for.
I was just looking at Twitter and I saw like on my timeline one tweet is like, this is the most uninteresting direct ever.
It
And
was
then the
really
tweet right
not.
under that was, this was everything I wanted from a direct. I'm like, yeah, this is how Nintendo directs go in my experience.
I'm a little bit in the between. I was excited for a couple things, but like I have to agree that most of it was just kind of like when I went back and I kind of
Hold
like
on, I
looked at
have
what
a
was
direct quote
announced.
from you that I'll pull up in a second.
Yes, the Kingdom Hearts one.
Yeah.
It essentially boiled down to me. Ugh, all this direct is just a bunch of remakes and remasters. Also me. Oh my god, Kingdom Hearts on Switch!
Buys it immediately.
Which I have bought already.
You fucking have, you weeb.
I don't know. It's just like they're and I brought up in the point of
There
like
it is.
why
I
make
found
something new when why make something new then risky when you can just make as much if not more money on something that's known.
I would say Nintendo is the king of doing that, except they're also the king of not releasing old fucking games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just funny because one of the things I saw that was trending like, oh, are they possibly going to actually release Mother 3, like give an actual Western release? And it's like, oh, here's Earthbound and Earthbound's beginning, and none for Gretchen Wieners. I mean, Mother 3. Bye.
While we're on the subject of that, I shared it in the Facebook chat earlier, but around the end of May of this year, the 3DS and Wii U eShop is no longer going to be taking credit cards, and download codes are going to stop in March of 2023.
Yep,
So,
I saw that.
Wii U eShop still functions?
Oh
yeah.
yeah, I mean, but the whole thing. I mean, and I was gonna say something about that. Is that the contrast between the Switch and the Wii U is so like night and day. Because like, I think the problem with the Wii U was no one wanted to. Because people kind of like learned with the Wii that like because the Wii was so forced and ingrained with motion controls that like game developers had to like make really shitty ports to the Wii. I don't know if you ever played like a what.
Can't confirm, played several.
Yeah, but then so with the Wii U, when they were like, oh, it's half tablet, that's when developers, I think, were kind of like, yeah, we're not doing this again for the generation. So, and the result was the Wii U had no third-party games. It was just all, like, Nintendo mainline products.
there was a lot of that, and then also the marketing for the Wii U was, like, the worst marketing I've ever seen for a console ever.
Yeah.
No one knew what it was.
Well, yeah, and I remember hearing people in stores being like, why do I need a Wii U? I already have a Wii at home.
Yeah.
Like I barely play my Wii at home. The Wii at home.
We have a
Wii at home, guys. I don't know. Like, I didn't have any expectations going into the direct, and therefore I was just kind of like, oh, neat. I mean, I'm really excited for the new Kirby game that looks
really
out
fucking
next
good.
month because
Shit.
with Carbo.
Eat the
Carbo. Well, also I also love Kirby games, and this seems more like kind of like a open worldish RPG kind of thing. Not open world, but like it's like there's like a lot more RPG in depth to it. I don't think RPG is the right word I should be using, but you know what I mean.
No.
We also got Disney Pixar Kart, And
Yeah, you were big mad there for a second.
but I was like, okay, I'll probably get it. Well, and Harry brought up the whole 48 new Mario Kart tracks that aren't new. Like, I keep flip-flopping back and forth. I'm excited or not. Like, on one hand, I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, they're all old tracks, but I mean, the old tracks were cool. Like, and it's cool that they're getting updated. And then they're literally doubling the amount of tracks in a year, which is kind of cool. But then people do like deep dives into it, and it just turns out that it might just be upscaled ports from the shitty mobile Mario Kart. Like, like people were comparing the two, and it's like, oh, it just looks like a slightly higher res Mario Kart Go or whatever track, and like I'm looking at it, I'm kind of like, yeah, I mean, compared to the original tracks that they released for the game, like there's like no look at like Moo Moo Meadows. Moo Moo Meadows looks fucking gorgeous on the Switch. Like there's like depth and realism and stuff. But then some of the newer ones they were showing off, it's just kind of like, this looks like cartoon bright vomit on the screen. So
right.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I just keep flip-flopping back and forth if I'm excited for it.
To me, it's just that I don't have any feelings toward it. It's just more like, oh shit, Sakurai's not gonna have any more Smash characters. Oh fuck, we need something exciting to bring to every direct.
Yeah, and I mean, but I feel like if they did such a cock tease at the beginning of that announcement. They're like, we know you've been playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for almost 10 years now, and it was just like, give it to us.
And you're gonna keep playing it, motherfucker.
It really was. It was just kind of like, haha, because everyone was expecting Mario Kart 9 to be announced. Like that's everyone's like
of Too Many Swordsmen from that one Smash trailer.
Pretty much.
Oh my goodness. I also am like, in terms of the ports that are gonna be there, I'm like, oh, Portal's would be neat, because I would like to do Portal 2 co-op with Nat at some point.
Yeah, but like again, my whole thing is like, I already own that on PC.
But you can't take it places with you.
I know, but like,
I'm probably gonna buy Portal.
The Ezio trilogy is coming to the Switch,
I
which
know.
I might buy for Vanessa, because she has.
I'm gonna buy it.
I'm probably gonna get that for Vanessa, because I feel like she really digs like that historical fiction shit, like really into like Jane Austen and Jane Austen fan fiction and stuff like that, which is the most boring sentence I've ever said in my entire life. But
I don't think those things are quite comparable, because they're not really the same era. But
yeah, it's historical fiction. You know what I meant, though. Like, not Jane Austen. You know, his words. Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies has been read. So that's historical fan fiction. Tell me I'm wrong.
In bigger news, we're getting Switch Sports.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Which looks incredible, and online play for bowling. Like you could literally just hang out in like a virtual bowling alley and just bowl.
But if you throw the ball backwards, do they go wow?
I hope so.
They better. They fucking better.
Yeah, and Breath of the Wild 2 got snubbed again.
Yeah, but they also explicitly at the beginning were like, the first half of 2022. So it very much was like sort of implying that these are all games that are coming out soon. Like, in terms of the direct, like, I was like, okay, there are fandoms that are certainly getting fed at this direct. Like, the Splatoon fandom got fed, the Xenoblade fandom got fed, the Chrono Cross fandom got fed, but
all the
I am
lesser
not
fandoms.
part of. But I'm
the
not
lesser
part
fandoms.
Of any
you know,
of
I'm not
fandoms.
wrong. But yeah,
I knew of at least a couple of content creators I know in those fandoms, but
only 2 more months till 13 Sentinels comes to Switch.
Harry, are you?
He's implying that Assassin's Creed 3 is the best one. Which you must be high.
I mean, Connor is a good character, but Harry, no.
Assassin's Creed 4 is the best one.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm
ready on my
Yes, good pirate game, bad Assassin's Creed game.
Yes.
I know we've talked about this on the podcast. So yeah, Nintendo Direct was pretty good overall. Many people were fed very well.
I didn't even know it was going on.
Speaking of getting fed,
thank you.
I went to the Face Jam live show in Chicago last Friday.
Very quickly, tell people what Face Jam is.
So Face Jam is it's a Rooster Teeth podcast, features Michael Jones from Achievement Hunter and some other people. Eric Bedora, the big podcast producer, is in there. On Face Jam, it's basically a fast food review project or podcast, but it's mostly fucking around. So like they don't eat the food on the show, they eat it before the show and then they talk about the food. So it's been going for a few years. If you want like some introductory episodes, honestly, the most recent episode is really good. They talk about the new Wendy's one. But anyway, went to see this in Chicago. And it was fucking phenomenal. Although I will say I did my time getting there was not the most smart because I was hoping there would be parking closer to Talia Hall than there was.
You drove downtown?
Yeah.
You're from the city.
He's not from the city, though. Like,
I'm from the
closer than
suburb.
any of us.
We're all from the sub. You see, no, he's not really, though. If anything, Chris grew up closest to the city.
Yeah.
Well, see, also, the past two
literally-
times I went up
two
to the
stops from
city,
downtown.
the past two times I went up to the city, I just pulled into a parking garage and then walked into the Aurelio's next door because those were the two times that I went up to the city in the past couple years.
Fair. I don't drive to the city. I always
No,
Uber.
Uber.
I'll
I
only Uber.
always
Train.
have-
I mean, I used to
So
train. I used to train a lot, but now it's not safe.
Mhm.
So anyway, I parked in a parking garage for UIC,
Nice.
and then I walked 20 minutes
Oh, God.
to the...
Oh boy.
Oh, Michael.
Now, I
Michael,
made the
Michael.
mistake of walking... Now, might not have been a mistake because I walked through UIC campus, which
Safe-ish?
debatably was the safest way to go, but also was the darkest way to go.
Oh yeah, they don't have any
So-
streetlights.
Yeah, so I'm like... And also there was snow on the ground, so I was just fucking walking through snow constantly and ice, and that was shit. But, took me fucking 30 minutes to find a place to park. But, because Google Maps sucks for finding parking spaces.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, I got there, and apparently there was also an opening act too. It was the new Rock Stars, which is just like a general media YouTube channel. They have a couple million views, so they're not nobodies, but
Nice.
or million subscribers.
Well, I mean,
They were kind of funny.
the whole thing they've been doing, Rooster Teeth has been doing with this podcast tour is it's a Rooster Teeth podcast and then someone else.
Yeah, it's a very normal podcast tour.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like them and then a guest.
So yeah, they had the new Rock Stars as the host. You could also drink while you were there, so that was great. They had a special. You could get like a double can of High Life and a shot for $10. So
Nice.
For a
For
venue,
city,
that's pretty.
not bad.
Yeah, for a venue in the city, that's pretty cheap actually. Like I think when we saw Ed Sheeran at the Allstate Arena, it was like $12 for a big beer,
Yeah.
and that was just the big beer.
yeah, I'd say this was
That was also not in
slightly
city.
smaller than the concert hall at ISU. So
So it was intimate.
yeah, it was slightly smaller than that, but it was packed. I would say it was almost filled up.
So I saw on Twitter that they went to Luminati's. Did they talk about Luminati's during the show?
Yes, they did, and that
Good.
was fucking
What did they say?
great.
What'd they
because
like? Did they like it?
Michael liked it. Jordan was not a fan of it.
Fuck you, Jordan.
But they had like a regular deep dish pizza, and also they had what was apparently a crustless pizza.
Yes,
Ew.
they have. Luminati's just does a sausage patty on the bottom sometimes, and so it's like gluten. It's like gluten free and like healthier because it's carbless.
Sorry, gluten free. You had me at gluten free.
Well, because
Look
I mean,
into it
it's.
before you
I mean,
purchase it
yeah.
first.
Look into it first. Make
Yeah.
sure the sauce doesn't have
Yeah.
anything. But it's literally just a sausage patty with like the cheese and the sauce and stuff on
But
top.
Wait. I'm sorry. The pizza is the crust is a sausage patty.
Yeah.
There just
I
is
think
no
I just
crust.
I think I just had a mini heart attack.
You're okay.
There is no crust.
and
It's just the sausage patty.
Anyway, let
Continue,
Mike talk,
Mike.
Kevin.
But yeah, so they talk about the food a little bit, but it's also the general sense of the podcast is just more them talking about the concept of the food and just their experience getting the food. Like they walked into the fucking Luminati's and they said they saw someone in like a full ball gown just sitting at the bar drinking.
Yeah,
And I was
that
like,
happens.
yeah, that sounds like Chicago.
Yeah.
But and then every time they kept pronouncing Illuminatis as Illuminatis, so everyone just kept leaning back and just doing this the whole time.
Oh,
like,
that's why I saw pictures of them doing that.
yeah. But God, that's show. And then like the opening, they'll probably do this like the next fortnight, 2 weeks from now, as the podcast. But Michael leaves in the middle of the show, like he's having a phone call with Lindsay on stage. And he just leaves in the middle of it to like put her on regular. And then Eric's just looking back, and then like 5 minutes go by, and Eric's like, I don't know where he is. He just left. I don't know what's going on. And he comes back in a pinstripe suit with a fedora, a fake cigar, and a tie made out of paper towels because he forgot his tie at home. And he starts doing an Al Capone impression.
Perfect.
Oh my god. That
sounds
is one of the things I forgot to kind of bring up when I was talking about my show earlier, is that this was the first live performance I've had in 2 years, and just
Nice.
live performance again with an audience. It feels nice. It felt really comfortable and nice because feeding off of the energy of that audience, and just shit like that where it's like, oh shit,
Oh, yeah.
I forgot my tie at home. Like,
Yeah, and like there's this guy Wes who's like Rooster Teeth's photographer for their merch store and stuff. He just grabbed paper towels and like made a full double Windsor tie out of paper towels for him.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
impressive,
but-
actually.
Yeah, but speaking of that, the fucking crowd was just going nuts the entire time. I was laughing so hard I was fucking crying. It was just this was one of the best live experiences I've ever had. I've been following Rooster Teeth for like over 15 years now. Like over half my life.
No.
I've been following Rooster Teeth since before Michael Rage Quit was working there. So this was just a very cathartic experience for me. And I'm so fucking glad I got to see this live. It was amazing.
Nice. I remember seeing. We've talked about this before. I remember seeing Red vs. Blue at my neighbor's house when it was first like. I think we were watching season 2, like in his basement.
Yeah.
Hey Kevin, what are you playing with?
Water.
What were you?
Oh,
playing
they also
An
have a
apple?
snack segment called Snack Attack, but instead of snacks, they drank Malort.
Yes. Well, Michael's had Malort before on the off
I'm
topic.
still-
He's
I have
Yeah.
never had Malort.
he's a maniac.
You've never had
He
Malort.
drank
Steve?
it. He's like,
No.
this sucks, and everyone in the audience is like, yeah.
Steve, let's do Malort shots.
Okay.
Yeah.
They-
who else
like,
hasn't
they
tried
all-
it? Who? Have you had Malort, Mike?
I mean, I guess it's content. Of course, I'm gonna do it,
I mean, I'll
but
do it too, but
Harry hasn't had Malort.
Ryan, have you had Malort?
I played the
Wait,
FIP.
Can Harry even get Malort?
I don't think
No,
he
it's
can.
only in Chicago. How have you guys never had Malort?
What's Malort?
because it's disgusting. That's how I haven't had.
How do you
Malort.
know you're gonna hate it? I don't mind Malort. It's not. It's very herby. It's very botanical. It kind of reminds me a
okay, so
little
I'm
bit
gonna
like
hate it then.
Okay.
it reminds me a little bit of Jaeger.
It is a brand of Basque liquor introduced in the 1930s. Something. Let's see. It's 35% alcohol.
yep.
Whoa.
Yep.
Hey, thank you so much for the
It is known
sub.
for its.
Oh, Patty gifted Harry a sub.
It is
Nice.
known
Thank
for
you.
its
At least
bitter.
it wasn't the bot this time.
It
Reminds you of
literally.
the hunt.
Okay, Malort, literally moth herb, is the Swedish word for wormwood,
Yeah.
which is
Wormwood,
the
yeah.
ingredient in it.
Yeah.
It's like that's what it's based
Nightshade.
off of.
So it's like a bitter liquor.
Yeah, it's bitter. It's herby. I don't think I can play this on podcast, but I will link it
Oh my god! Sorry.
in the
I just-
chat.
Popped my shoulder.
This is an actual commercial from the Malort people.
Patty, Malort.
Watch it after the
No.
podcast. It's very funny. Puke warning. Just saying. If you're
Like-
squeamish
Oh,
about
no.
that, just saying.
Well, I am, so I won't.
There you go.
Oh, this is
Oh,
a
that
3
was-
minute
yep.
ad. I'm not watching that.
Yeah, it's 3 minutes
That's
long.
why
It's good
Kevin
though.
said
Watch it
after
later.
the podcast.
Yes, watch it after the podcast, which we're wrapping up right now.
Oh, that was my experience.
God damn it.
Puke warning. That was my experience at the fucking hockey rink last
Hold
night.
on. Hold on.
How'd that go?
Hold on.
Yeah, I don't like puke, so.
Yeah,
Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
Also,
Like I
God
said.
damn it!
I just learned about the Titanic loot alert like maybe a week ago, and I was losing my shit when I was getting spammed. What stream was that? Was that I don't even remember what that was.
I don't remember, but
Kevin, can I request you put the Jurassic Park one in instead of the Titanic one?
Anyways, thank you guys so much for.
You're married now.
God fucking damn it.
I have almost 20,000 channel points. I cannot wait to just.
I got through.
It's
Oh,
a
only
podcast.
20,000? Mike, only 20,000?
Well, I never comment or anything, so.
The $100 shit.
You don't need to comment, you just lurk.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
it's totally worth
No,
it,
Harry, not
It-
even for the joke. I won't even
No,
tell you for the joke.
no,
It's not worth it.
No, don't.
I mean, it's something where like, if you can find it around you, I'd definitely try it. But
Here, go to get the Malort experience. Like, go find a puddle of mud and stick your tongue in it.
Okay, next time we hang out, guys, I'm getting Malort. We're all gonna try Malort, and we're gonna
Okay.
record it.
Try
It'll be a
Malort,
great
and
time.
then I will
I'm in.
say it's not bad, and then go puke.
Harry, don't get it. Don't.
I mean,
Harry,
that's
get
your
it.
future.
Harry, get it.
If you want to do that, that's your
Even
prerogative,
people
my
from
dude.
Chicago
Please-
who like drink
please
it are just
record
like,
it.
no.
Harry,
Yeah.
please record it. Please, if you actually do, please record it and send it to me. I need
And
to
he'll
see
jerk
that.
off to it later.
He will.
Malort, when you really need to taste the future regrets. Again, I don't hate Malort. I think it's fine. It'll be the first and only time I actually buy Malort, though.
That was another thing when on the podcast, like Jordan, like 5 minutes later, he's like, I still taste it.
Yeah, it lingers. Again, I think it's fine, but I'll get it, and you guys can try it. You guys can see for yourself. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out on this exciting episode of the VGRcast. We will be live again.
2 hours.
We will be live again next Tuesday with the VGRcast. We'll be live tomorrow with something. I don't know.
Will we?
Probably.
We got shit to do.
Do we?
We gotta put stamps and return addresses on things.
Yes.
Ah, shit, I gotta we gotta do that for our California wedding.
But yeah, so we'll be live again this week. Probably Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever. I don't know actually, but anyways, we'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Eat dicks.